So we're doing it the old school way, the old Facebook live way. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to get Nick on this. I'm just going to tag him in. And hopefully, I don't know why Zoom, there he is. Let's bring him on camera. We had...
Hello, mate.
Nick, finally! How are you, buddy?
Very good, mate. Very good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. I know my sound's not going to be great. I can hear myself echoing. Have you got any headphones there?
I have. You're going to have to give me about 1 minute to go and grab them.
That's cool, mate.
Guys.
What's going on with Zoom? We'll see what's going on.
There you go.
Oh, that's way better.
Cool.
Way better.
Sorted.
So, thank you, Nick. Really appreciate it, mate. I don't know what the hell's going to happen there. I really haven't got a clue. I've been doing the Zoom stuff, no problem. It's been no problem at all. And you've gone still. Here we go. You've just frozen on me. Maybe it's not meant to be. Let's just check if you come back. Your end. I think it's... Oh, it's your end. Right. Bear with us, guys. He'll come back. His internet's just gone. And we'll get there finally. We will get there. We will get there. I promise you we'll get there. We'll get there. I promise you we'll get there. This is the thing. Resistance. Resistance. That's what all this is. Fight through the resistance. Hey, Peter Butler. How you doing, buddy? Let's see where he is now. Oh, man. What a nightmare. Let's bring Nick on. Nick. Invite. There you go. So we are going old school now. We got the Facebook live going on, and it should be on my Zoom, on my laptop, sharing to Facebook, streaming to Facebook. But unfortunately, for some reason, the API is not connecting. Even though I've done it, used it before many times on other lives, but it is what it is, and we just have to, you know, bear with it. So obviously Nick's internet is playing up now. So oh, there he is. Let's bring him on. There you go. Let's just add in Nick again. Hey Nick.
Hello, mate. Sorry, my phone rang, and when I pressed the red button to get rid of them, it froze. Don't know why.
Oh, I thought it was the internet.
No.
I thought it was because it looked like it's interference. Okay, mate. Well, we'll start because I really appreciate your patience, basically.
You're welcome.
Gremlins, man, technical gremlins. First of all, welcome to Mic Drops Up Close.
Thanks.
It's an absolute pleasure having you with us.
Pleasure to be here.
And appreciate your perseverance in actually making it. So basically, I want to ask you a few questions for my audience and that on the Mic Drops show, and it's live on iTunes at the moment. Got quite a few guests. We've got Neil Patel coming this on the 11th, so a couple of more days time, and we've got Neil Patel, top marketer. And the reason why I wanted Nick on this show, because number one, he's my mentor, really great guy, fantastic guy, brilliant human being, extremely, you know, talented, done a lot in his life, and I just want to get, as the show's called, Mic Drops Up Close, get close with him and find out his journey, how he got there. Obviously, Mic Drops is all about business, is about mindset, and it's about marketing. So there's three core areas that it covers, and actually Nick's covers those three areas. So first of all, welcome. And I just want to just touch on a few things. So could you explain to people where you began, how you started this amazing business you got called Seriously Fun Business, just tell them how it all began. Would be a good start.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it as brief as possible, especially for those that have heard this already or before. But I mean, I've been in the kind of personal development, self-improvement world since I was a kid. Since I was 12 years of age at a Tony Robbins seminar in Hawaii, was around that environment a lot as a teenager, and then always wanted to get into the business of helping people improve, whether that's personally, business-wise, whatever that looked like. Ended up working for a guy called Andy Harrington, who, of course, Michael, you know, and I'm sure other people watching or listening have heard of Andy as well, in his kind of first venture into this industry 10 or 15 years ago. Got trained by him in speaking, in sales, in marketing. To the point where I then went out, set my first business of any note, really, was me being a consultant for people who are coaches or NLP trained, and really from there just gradually improved and built from, doing a bit of consulting, making a few rand here and there, up to a, multi 6-7-figure business teaching large scale events. We regularly now have hundreds of people come through our events time and time again, where we specialize in teaching people that are experts, coaches, consultants, speakers, trainers, authors, agency owners, about how they can grow their expert empire. They can attract more clients, make more money, make a bigger impact on the world.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, the bigger impact is definitely something that there's a pattern there with many people that are on your courses and so on. Because there's several courses, aren't there? You've got a partnership with Matt as well, haven't you? Called the Elite Closing Academy. Matt's a fantastic guy, I've got to say. If anyone doesn't know Matt Elwell, he really is a really great guy.
Yeah, that's a separate company. It's a secondary company, if you like, that I co-own, partner with a friend of mine called Matt Elwell. That's focused because he's world class at closing business and teaching people how to close business. So he's the kind of head trainer in that business. I run things behind the scenes. And then we have Seriously Fun Business, which is the main company that hosts Expert Empires and the Bums on Seats Bootcamp and other events like that.
So just to explain to people, because there'll be people listening in on this that have not heard of Bums on Seats.
No.
Bums on Seats.
Surely not.
There must be. Well, this is going to go global, man. This is going to go global. Like my book went international, this will go international.
Of course.
Sure. Boom, mic drop. But yeah, literally, your Bums on Seats was an amazing event. You're doing your last one, aren't you now? It's the last one ever, which is really sad. And that event is a real valuable event, and anybody that has been to one will know exactly what I'm on about. There's a lot of content in that event, and I'd say it's what got me on the road into being under your mentorship, to be honest with you, Nick, because there's so much content. It's like I've not been on a course with so much content, to be fair, like that. And was it 2 days or 3 days? Can't remember.
Yeah, 3 days. 3 days.
Yeah, it's a lot of content. Why are you ending it? Why is that coming to an end? What's the thoughts behind that?
A couple of reasons, really. I mean, we've been teaching that seminar now in various different forms for 5-6 years, I think. And the main reason really is that I feel that the development of my business and our company is to we started off Seriously Fun Business only started 3.5 years ago, June 2015, so just under 4 years ago. And at the time, I did exactly what I teach every expert to do, which is to specialise. So I specialised in the one thing that I knew best, which was how to run events, how to fill rooms. So the Bums on Seats Bootcamp was the first event I taught under that new business. And everything that we did was focused and niched around that. Now, in the last 3 or 4 years, the business has grown far quicker than I could have ever imagined. But it's meant that we're serving quite a large audience of people, many of whom don't really have any interest in running their own seminars and workshops. So the reason that we're retiring the Bums on Seats bootcamp, as it were, is because it probably isn't relevant for 80% of our audience. And so what we're doing is, and you know, we're a lot more focused on our other programs like Mastermind, like Expert Empires, that are going very, very well. You know, we just had 400 people at Expert Empires in last week. We've got over 100 people in our Mastermind program now. So you know, there's other parts of the business. You know, you've heard me say this before, Mike. You know, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. And so in our business, I've looked at it and gone, you know, the Bums on Seats bootcamp, as much as I love it, I'll be sad to see it go. It's a sacrifice that we've had to make in order to serve our purpose, which is to help experts get results. And, you know, my intention to get experts results on a huge scale, the Bums on Seats bootcamp is a way that we can achieve that. And you know, it probably is holding us back ever so slightly just because it is so niched and specialised. Now, interestingly, anyone watching this or listening to this who is an expert, who's looking to get started, should absolutely specialise and become an expert in just one thing. That's exactly what I did when I started. I think if I hadn't done that, there's no way that I would have built a six-figure business very quickly, multi-six figures, seven figures, now multi-seven-figure business in this space over the last 3-4 years. Mainly because I specialise to begin with, and now it's reached the point where we need to broaden our reach.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you know me well. I know that me starting off under your mentorship, that was originally very hard to do, very hard, because number one, I studied multimedia design and marketing, and that by itself is like many different areas. So it's kind of like you do 3D, you do marketing, there's design, there's loads of different areas. So it's hard to kind of like leave your children at home and take one with you to the Disneyland. You know what I mean? It's really, really, really hard. So how would you say to people, how, you know, obviously, you know, it's a successful formula and it works for everyone. You know, obviously I'm focusing on lead generation now, and, you know, for property investors, and that's really great. Obviously, it's not always caged into just that, because if business comes along, you can open up a little bit. But how do you focus? How did you focus? Because you used to do copywriting, didn't you? And that was your core thing. You did it successfully for some big names actually in the UK already. Some friends of ours as well. How did you take the leap? Because that's quite a leap to what you're doing now. That's quite gutsy, quite ballsy to do.
To move from what? From
pure copywriting, and you left your job to start in the journey of this amazing.
Yeah, but it was gradual, you know. Like the copywriting thing was the start point. It got me started. When I had to restart again in 2015, I went to getting Bums on Seats and running successful events. So it was just another area to specialise in. And I do think that, you know, it just because you're specialising in one thing now doesn't mean it's forever. You know, and it hasn't been for me. We've had a number of different versions. It started off as copywriting, then it morphed into product launches, then it moved more into building campaigns and funnels, then it went into more Bums on Seats and how to run events. So there's been a few different versions of it over the last 10 years. I think, you know, until you're at the stage where you're making multi-six figures in annual sales, probably isn't helpful or necessary to be any broader than those kind of angles, you know, that I've spoke about. You know, in your case, lead generation for property investors, really nice, tight niche. I like it. I think if you were going all things marketing, which you were, you're going to struggle because, you know, you're competing with a lot of other people who are already further down the line than you are, that have more, already have a bigger profile, have more money to invest in marketing, all these things. You know, whereas if you specialise and you're the only one, I'm the only person in the UK that teaches how to get Bums on Seats. So consequently, if anyone needs that, I get the call, I get the email, I get the message on Facebook. You know, which is why that's been such a successful avenue for us. And you know, you reach a point where it starts to hold you back a little bit. But that point is quite a long way into the journey. That's, multi six figures at least in sales.
So would you say, is that something, because one of the questions was going to be, what do you wish you knew back then that you know now? Is it the niche thing, or would there be something else that you could add to that?
I think for me, it probably isn't, because I did that well. I think it's the thing that most people get wrong in our industry. But the thing that I used to get wrong was more the financial management. I was really bad at it and didn't really bother investing time in learning it. So it was always feast and famine. It was, there was either lots of money in the bank or none. And I never really knew week to week where we were going to be. And actually what that did was it kept me stuck at kind of low to mid six figures, because I didn't know how much I could afford to invest in a marketing campaign or recruiting more staff, or, I wasn't ever in a position to be able to take that kind of gamble. Whereas having clear visuals on the financials in your business allows you to make those decisions, invest in growth, or at least stay safe when you need to, because you go, actually, if I don't stay safe in the next few weeks, then we're going to run out of cash. So, which we did repeatedly, and I had to sell my way out of trouble. Now, fortunately, I'm good at that, and so I could make it work. But you wouldn't want to put yourself in that position. No. So for me, it was financial management. But for most people, the answer to that question would be the specialising and niching thing.
Niching it down, yeah, no, definitely. Because I think one of the biggest questions that comes up in your lessons, one of them was mine, was focus, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest, the most common question is about focus. So, so what would you say if there was one thing that you failed at, what would it be? Because you seem to be obviously people from the outside see a trajectory going up. You started there. I mean, I remember when Gary V came on your Expert Empires, and it just exploded. Literally, Gary Vaynerchuk, massive American influencer, fantastic guy, and that was a big gamble. And I remember you telling me the story about when he went on stage, and there was that moment that not the epiphany. It was more like a huge relief. And that touched me massively, because the way you explained that story really hit home. I could feel that passion that you had, So could you share that moment with people, because that could have gone one or the other way.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a significant play, and funnily enough, going back to the previous point about knowing the financials, the only reason I was able to make that play was because I had an understanding of financials. So I understood how to play the game with cash flow. So, that event cost me a significant amount of money. It cost me a couple of $100,000 to run. Money that I did not have, by the way. But also because I knew how to play the game, money that I didn't need to borrow either. So was able to play the cash flow game a bit, bring in some money sooner, push back paying money out later, make fresh sales. All these things that I did to play the game a little bit really helped. So in essence, it wasn't a gamble, but it might have looked like one from the outside, because I know the game called cash flow, and I also know the game of how to run events successfully and make them profitable. So it wasn't really a gamble, but still, even then, after 3, 4, 5 months of hard work, and early mornings, late nights, sleepless nights, time away from the family, all these things to pull the event off, get into that in May 2017, and invite him on stage and have this huge audience. I think we sold 600 plus tickets. And it was the first event like that I'd really done on my own, not like as a standalone business, not partnered with anybody. It was a significant moment for me in my career. It was a hugely successful event, and really from that point on, everything changed. But I think the lesson from that people can take is that when it comes to playing a bigger game, for me in particular, the smartest way for me to play a bigger game is run events, because I know it backs front and inside out. The smartest play for somebody to play smartest way to play a big game from somebody that's never run an event before is not to try and run a big ass event.
Yeah.
The smartest play would be to do what you already do well. So, let's say a big play for somebody, let's say a really good friend of mine, Ryan Pinnock, one of the best speakers, certainly in the UK, if not the world, especially when it comes.
He's coming on this show.
Yeah, especially when it comes to personal development. A big play for somebody like Ryan, who's a world-class speaker, would be to invest in speaking on stage at a huge event. That'd be a big play, but it'd be a smart one because he's world-class at speaking. So he's going all in on a thing that he's world-class at. So really, when it comes to playing a bigger game, the question you want to ask yourself first is, what am I world-class at, and how can I use that to play a bigger game?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're spot on, definitely. And Ryan is a legend. He's got a heart of gold. He's bloody funny. He's such a nice guy, and I mean, again,
you're right. And there's plenty of people that are all those things, but they cannot, in 60 minutes, 75 minutes, deliver a world-class presentation on personal development that gets people to want to enroll in their workshop. They can't. He's got that skill nailed. So his big play, if he said to me, Nick, I want to go Cardone, I want to 10x my business. I'm like, right, okay, let's invest money or time or resource in 10xing the amount of people you speak in front of. Whether that's paying to speak on big stages, whatever it is, that's what I'd look at because that's what he's world class at. If you're speaking to somebody who's world class at running Facebook ads and generating leads that way, I'd be like, well, the way to go big on your business is to go big on Facebook ads. The last thing you should be doing is going big on speaking on stage if you've never really done it well. That doesn't make any sense.
For lead generation, Facebook ads, a thing I do. I've done it successfully for property investors and a few other people. But it's not something. It's part of the package of lead gen. You can't do one without the other in many areas. But it does take a lot of balls to do it. I mean, I did a recent event in London with a colleague of mine, and it was our first event. And blimey, it was stressful. It was successful. It was a big room, Marriott. It was very successful, but it was stressful. And it was a paid event. It wasn't a free event or anything like that. And I tell you now, hats off to you. I mean, I don't know how you do it, even to this day, but I know the team work extremely hard.
No, but the thing is, mate, again, it's something we've honed over. I mean, mate, I did my first ever event in 2009. So I've been 10 years I've been doing this. There was only 8 people there, but I've learned over 10 years what works, what doesn't work, what the greatest pitfalls are, how to make it financially viable. We've got a great team of people also that are specialists at doing this, so I don't have to get involved in the minutiae and the detail. So, the key really is to really have, a few key things. For me, events is the main one, that you know back to front and inside out, and go all in on those. Because then you can get true mastery of them, which means the likelihood of you making a big play and it not paying off is very slim.
And another really interesting thing about you is unlike a lot of businesses where you kind of you put up the gates, you block everything off from everyone else, and the competition's on. You actually have got a very unique way of actually being, and you're a really likable person. I like you a lot, and your team are really likable. But you've got a really nice way of collaborating with a lot of people that have similar crossovers, not always the same, but similar crossovers, and you collaborate well. You've got I'll put the link in the thing in the comments. But you're doing a collaboration with Rob Moore, another great guy in property. And obviously Grant Cardone, massive billionaire from America, is coming. We've met him before at your Expert Empires. And you've got the 10X Property Super Conference going on, which is going to be thousands of people. The link's in the comments if you want to go to that, guys. I really highly recommend it. But I would say, what I mean, a lot of people would be fearful to do that. How did you? Is it a long-term sort of friendship that you've grown? Is it a trust? Is it just that there's enough in the market? Because some people a lot of people don't like collaborating like that.
I think in any collaboration, now bear in mind, Rob and I aren't really competitors. The core business that he runs teaches property education. I don't teach property education, so it isn't a conflict. There isn't any competition there. It's really that partnership has come about from the two of us having assets that complement each other. So I've got an asset called 10 years of experience, filling rooms, running events with big speakers that are highly profitable. I know the model. He's got an asset called an audience of people that want to learn property education. And so we've collaborated to go, well, we can do this that Nick knows really well for this group over here that Rob's already got access to. So it made perfect sense. Now, there are other examples of me collaborating and partnering with people that you might think are competitors. But I also believe, I come from a place of, I really believe that there's more than enough to go around, for a start.
Yeah.
I also believe that there are going to be some people that just aren't right for me, or I'm not right for them, more likely. And, the person I partner with, maybe like my audience resonates with them more, or they resonate with my audience more, and that's cool. So I think, I think there's a lot to be said. I mean, look, if I didn't do partnerships, joint ventures, collaborations, like my business would be a tenth of the size it is now, because I've built like all of our database, the majority of it, not all, probably 80% plus of our database has been built through doing collaborations, joint ventures and partnerships. 20% maximum is probably from paid advertising. The rest of it's all been historically from joint ventures. So I think, had I not done that, I'd be sitting on, probably not a tenth, but probably a fifth of the size of the business that I've got now. I'd be reaching a fifth of the people. I'd be making a fifth of the money. It'd be, I just think that collaborations are such a great way. And in this case, you mentioned the 10x Property Super Conference that I'm running with Rob. That will be the biggest event I've ever done by a mile. Comfortably the biggest event I've ever done. I couldn't have done that if I'd just done it on my own. And by the way, don't think he'd mind me saying this. Neither could he. But together, I truly believe that the sum of the parts when you put them together is
the synergy.
What we can achieve together. Like if we bring my skills, my assets, his skills, his assets, the end result is greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah, no, I totally get that completely, and there is definitely compliments there. I was actually referring to other competitors, not Rob specifically, but but I mean he does do some things that aren't property. That he's got another arm to a couple of arms to his business. But there is, I mean, I respect Rob massively. He's another mentor of mine. So you're both mentors of mine, and I believe mentors need mentors, and you guys have mentors as well. I mean, would you like to explain to the people watching the importance of mentors? I mean, I'm not at your level, and you have mentored, and it's always good to have someone slightly above, or maybe in more experienced. Doesn't have to be in terms of like assets and so on. It could be just experience, but just that way to grow. It's really important to have mentors.
I think first of all, it's important to surround yourself with people that are already playing a bigger game, because it just, first of all, the first step, if you want to play a bigger game, in my mind, is to think a bigger game. And it's hard to do that when you don't know anyone who's playing a bigger game. So I surround myself with consistently people that are playing a bigger game in business than I am. Many of whom in the same industry. So I can see what's possible. I go, wow, if it's possible for them to achieve that goal, run those events, whatever it is for them, then it must be possible for me. It makes me start thinking bigger. That's part of the reason why I did Expert Empires in 2017, was because I was around people. I'm in a mastermind. It's called the Syndicate, and many people in there were running events much bigger than mine. And I went, well, I'm around these guys, and I felt like I wanted to try and step it up, play a bigger game, start competing with them. So just being around them raised my game, made me think bigger and want to compete, in a good way. So I think that's the first thing, is being around people just because they think bigger, it makes you think bigger. Then the second thing is that you can actually learn from their experiences, their mistakes. You can learn their strategies. You can share yours with them. So I think this is why it's really important. And I think it just shortcuts the learning curve. Really, it can take you a long time to learn through trial and error. You can fast track your way through to success by the old adage of standing on the shoulders of giants. Finding people that are already doing it, and then learning from their experiences, their mistakes, implementing their strategies. And I think it's important to find mentors or be part of a peer group at the very least. of people that you can help, they can help you,
Yeah.
and you can have that friendly competition as well.
So do you think that's possible for anyone to grow? Do you think people have to have something within them? Because, you know, there's a lot of people that go and do lots of training. I'm one of them. And there's some people that you think will make it and some you might think that might not. I mean, do you think anyone and everybody's able to literally, you know, level up themselves, you know?
If they want to, yes. But you can't make somebody be more ambitious. It's like if they don't want to, you know, think about it from a health and fitness point of view. Can anybody get slim and ripped? Yeah. Most people just don't have the motivation. I think it's, you know, it's not a can they level up? Are they capable? I believe everybody's capable. Now, could everybody make it as a world-class speaker? No.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's right,
I don't believe they could. Because I think being a speaker, yes, it's something that anybody can learn to be good at. But I think when it comes to being absolutely world-class elite, I think there's something that I wouldn't say you're born with, but I think some people are more naturally charismatic than others. So I think it's a case of, can everybody level up their game, be bigger, be better? Yeah, of course they can. And I think the key, the distinction is to find the best route for them to achieve that success. For me, it's running my own events. Actually speaking on other people's stages, not what I'm world class at. But filling rooms, hosting my own stage, that's definitely my sweet spot. So I go all in on that. You know, for other people...
You are a natural, though, as well. You are a natural on stage.
Well, hold on. I've been doing it. Do you know how old I was when I gave my first presentation?
No,
16.
Sorry. Wow.
I've been doing this 20 years. When I say 6, by the way, that was... I don't really tell this story very often. This was delivering a training at a Tony Robbins event to about 200 or 300 volunteers, and I had to stand at the front of the microphone and deliver a training for them because I've been around it for 4 years. You know, I've been around it since I was 12, and they were like, "Hey, you know, we're going to learn how to do." It was a certain role in the volunteer crew. Like, hey, Nick's going to come and give us some distinctions about it since he's been doing it 4 years all over the world. First presentation. That was 20 years ago. So you go, you're naturally good. Well, I'd like to think that I've got some natural skill when it comes to communicating, but mate, when you do it 20 years, I've delivered thousands of presentations. So when you've delivered thousands of presentations, yes, it looks like you're naturally good.
Yeah. So I'll just practice 1,000 times, I'll be all right.
Well, no, I mean, the fact is, if I looked at footage of me speaking 5 or 10 years ago, I'd cringe. If I look at footage of me now in 5 or 10 years' time, I'll probably cringe. So it's just, you're always going to improve with time.
You're right. I mean, when I did my event, you know, it's a room of just over 100 people, and it was a big room, and I wasn't nervous, which is weird. So I know if I do that more often, it'll get better.
Yeah.
But I know I'm not a brilliant speaker, that's for sure. And I'm speaking in London, Kensington, actually, and on Wednesday. So I've got to get practicing on that. But yeah, so
it's like anything, mate. The more, I think some people are more naturally talented than others in certain disciplines. Like, are there some sports people that are more naturally talented at golf than others? Yeah, of course there are.
I'm crap at golf.
Yeah. But some people have got more natural ability, which is a good start point. If you've got natural ability versus somebody that hasn't, you're probably going to win. But 10 years down the line, if you've done bugger all practice and the other person that's got less natural abilities lived on the golf course every day, they're going to kick your ass.
Yeah, absolutely.
The people that make it at an elite level of sport, of business, of anything, are those that have got the talent and they work hard at it. Yeah, you look at like, you know, I'm a big football fan. You can see the shirts behind me, right? 2 best players in the world, Messi and Ronaldo, right? Ronaldo, as an example, natural talent, stacks of it. Works harder than any footballer on the planet, I guarantee it. The guy works his ass off, and that's why he's one of the best. There's plenty of people that have got his natural talent that didn't make it anywhere near where he has. And there's also plenty of people that haven't got his talent that work really hard and have made it a decent career as a footballer.
Yeah, I forget which top I won at the your awards event. I won a top and I donated back out.
Yeah, the England one. There it is. It's the England one's. It's waiting to be auctioned off again next year, probably.
Yeah, we did it for charity. I won it. I put the most down to a charity, and I donated it back again so we can make more.
And then you don't want it, so you can have it back, and then we'll roll it into next year's. Of course we will.
That's
Why
it.
not?
Yeah, why not? It's nice.
Very generous of you,
Cause.
mate. Really appreciate it.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. There's people, like I say, no matter how much struggles we have, there's people worse off, isn't there, at the end of the day.
Always.
And I mean, like I said, that's what I keep on holding on to. Like, even recently, I've been a bit down lately, and it's like, I think it's important to hold on to that. And I mean, have you had like moments like that? Because you're very, very focused, laser focused kind of guy. That's what I get from you. And you're definitely devoted, loving father. You got some beautiful kids. And would you say, or I guess it is for most of us, that's my reason why. And you know, if it is, obviously it is yours as well as other things, I'm sure. But what would you want for your children? To follow the same journey as you, to have mentorships, mentors at a young age? Are you the mentor initially? Do they have external, you know?
Yeah, no,
influences?
I think. Well, first of all, you nearly asked a question which I was happy to answer, which is like, you know, do I have times when I'm feeling a bit low and, you know, and not motivated? Of course, like, it's human nature. We all have it. You know, the question is how often and how long does it last? Like, you know, can you snap out of it quick, or do you dwell on it for days and weeks on end? So I think, you know, it's human nature. It's absolutely natural to have ups and downs, highs and lows, times when you're not feeling quite at it on your game. I have them all the time. You know, sometimes it lasts longer than others, but the fact is, you know, I've invested enough in my own understanding of myself and personal development to be able to consciously change that at any time, at will. When it comes to, you know, my kids, and I'm very, you know, I've invested in their personal development. You know, my oldest, Zach, has been to seminars and stuff with me. He's chosen to do that. I haven't forced him into it. You know, and, you know, I really think that whatever they want to do, I'm totally supportive of. You know, they want to follow my footsteps, great, I'll be really proud. They want to do something completely different, great, I'll be really proud. You know, they're both very sporty. I love sport, but never made a career at it. You know, so I think you've got to let them find their own path. And you know, my job is to kind of steer them on that path and help them navigate. I think, you know, as a parent, I'm probably not the mentor. Like, you know, I'm there to raise them, and hopefully, you know, raise. They're both boys, so you know, raise wonderful young men. But I also think that external support, mentorship, advice is valuable. You know, when I look at my career, there's been a number of people mentioned. Andy Harrington earlier. Tony Robbins was the first person that I really looked up to and learned from in this industry. And there's been loads of others that I can't list all of them right now. So, you know, I think it's important to have external mentors as well. And I'll absolutely encourage my kids to do that.
Definitely. I love that, because I'm very much the same. It's hard, I'll be honest with you, to kind of get out of some sadness, because I see it, for people that don't know, my son's severely disabled, was born healthy. He'd be the same as your son, actually, same age as your son. And it's just hard to sort of like, to constantly be on a positive, you know what I mean, when you see pain and suffering every day. But I do try my best to sort of like get out of that, and it's the fight or flight thing, isn't it? You know, at the end of the day, what do? You can't just dwell on it. But I do have my days where you are really down.
The thing is, mate, listen, I ain't perfect. Like, I screw up more than you would possibly imagine. Trust me. But the one thing that always brings me back to focus and being centered is remember who's watching.
Yeah.
Like, they're watching your behaviour all day, every day. My kids are watching my behaviour all day, every day, and they will model it. When they grow up, they will model it. So, you know, that's why like I said, I'm not perfect. I screw up all the time. But what I constantly remind myself is you are an example, whether you like it or not. So, you know, you got to try and be the best example you can for them.
Oh, absolutely. I do try. I do dip down under the red line, you know, as Tony says a lot. But actually, funny you say that. Two hours ago, I wrote, I put a post up saying, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency you have. And it really is. It's the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency you have, which I'd say goes on to you. your currency that you have is very valuable, because you've actually helped a lot of people within their business, their life, their strategies, everything, and that, I think, must feel bloody great. Must feel good that you know, you've been able to be a very, you know. Oh, we've lost you. Oh no, we've lost him. Let's see if we can catch him again. Sorry guys, we've lost him. Hang on. Here we go. Here we go. It's coming on again.
Hey, yeah, all that happened
Hey.
was I had a phone call come in, and as soon as that happens, it freezes for some reason. So,
Oh yeah, no, Facebook flaw in the design. I was just saying, in terms of like the effect you have on others, and I was saying it's the most valuable currency you can have. And I did a post of it two hours ago. I was just saying that you have that in yourself, in what you've created with Seriously Fun Business, and you have an immense currency with the way you've helped people in their businesses, on their journey, with clarity, and it must feel good to know you've done that, because you know, a lot of people struggle to do that for one person in their life, let alone the many people you've done it for. Just building the structure around them. I know you're going to probably say something really humble, like they've done it themselves, but you have
no.
built,
It was all fucking me. No.
it was all you.
No. You're right. Though. I mean, you know, like it does feel great to, you know, and the thing is, I think a lot of times what we do is we compare ourselves to other people, and it'd be quite easy for me to go, oh yeah, but look at that other person over there who's got, you know, 500 people in their mastermind, and they're putting 5,000 people into each event, and you know, I've only got, you know, 500 people coming to my event, I've only got 100 in mastermind. But then you got to remind yourself where you've come from. There was a time where I was getting 8, 10, 15 people in a room for my events. I did a video in my mastermind group the other day. You might have seen it, Michael. Where basically I went, look, like, I am beyond humbled and grateful that I get to do what I do. I get paid to do this. Like, I have to pinch myself sometimes. This is what I do for a living. You know, we've got over 100 people in our mastermind program, and it hit me the other day. Funny enough, I was doing a live. And in the moment, I was like saying how grateful I am for all the people that have joined, and that they've chosen me to serve them, support them, and our team to serve and support them. And it hit me, and I went, shit, this started with 8 people in like 2013 in my lounge. And today it's over 100 people. Like, that is, like, I literally, I got like choked while I was doing the video, because it all of a sudden hit me in the moment that there was like over 100 people at this point in time. I mean, there's been hundreds that have been through over the last few years, but that we'd gone from there to there. And it's easy to compare, you know, yourself to other people and feel less than. It's also, by the way, really easy to compare yourself to other people and feel more than. I don't think either of those things are that helpful. I think the best comparison you can make, my mum's husband and the spiritual guru of Seriously Fun Business, and he says this: the only point of looking back in the past is to see how far you've come.
Love it.
And I just think there's so much truth in that statement, and there's very little value otherwise. You look back, I look back into the past and realise that we've done pretty damn good. I also look back in the past and look at all the mistakes I've made in my life, and I hope that and I like to think I'm doing better now than I was, and I'll probably look back on how I've behaved and my life today in 5 or 10 years' time, and hopefully I'll look back and again realise how far I've come again.
I love that, because it fits to something I put on, and it was more giving myself a bit of a push. I did a little YouTube video, and it's called Stronger. I'll put the link in if people want, but it's basically a little video, and it's about, and in the video, I'm talking on it. It's like I just wanted to help people. It's like an inspirational video, and it says about those incremental steps become huge leaps, and it's pretty much what you're saying when you look back. And you look how far you've come, but whilst you're doing it, they're just steps. And it's true. Even myself, I do look a lot on my history and what's happened. I do feel sorry for myself. Can't help it. It's very difficult. not to when you can't do very normal stuff. But I do pick myself back up. It takes time sometimes, and just keep walking that length, because I don't think anyone could cope with, having a child born completely healthy come home normal, and then that child lose their sight, their hearing, their body control, their voice, and then you've got that to live with, and loads of operations, and then other problems going on like cancer and stuff happening in the family. I don't think anyone could physically, then have strangers in your home all the time, could live with that quite comfortably. I don't think anyone could. So I know I'm normal. I know I'm normal. If I get down, I know I'm normal. But it's been hard. And it's people like yourself, Nick. I've got to be honest with you, Nick, Rob. There's other mentors that I've connected with over the last few years. They've given me that strength. And whether you realise it or not, just being in that environment of people that I know are genuinely decent people and are supportive, it gives me that extra power. You know what I mean? And sometimes even people that they say I'm a superhero. You're so strong, well done, all this kind of thing, you're an inspiration. To me, I don't see that. I need people like yourselves to plug into to get my energy, and I love that network.
We're all just doing the best we can with what we've got, right? And we're all dealt a hand. You got to play the best you can. That's it. Some of us are dealt better hands than others. Some of us are dealt worse hands than others. But there's no point in comparing yourself to anyone else. The fact is, you go, I'll compare myself to myself and look back into the past and see how far I've come, and imagine how you want it to be different in the future and aim to do better. That's it, man.
Cool. So a couple of more questions. In terms of like your legacy, if you could say, and it's a bit morbid this, but let's just say 100 years from now you just died. Yeah,
that's optimistic, man.
Yeah, I don't want to say you're young. I don't want to curse anything, but let's just say a long time. How would you like to be remembered?
Yeah, you know what? I genuinely feel, I do feel quite humbled that I'd like to think that we don't know how long we've got. And I'd like to think that if it wasn't long, that people would remember me. And, I'd like to think that if I have got long, which I hope I have, fingers crossed, that I can do even more in however long I have. Because, I think actually the thing that gives me most enjoyment, the most fulfillment really, is when I hear stories and I get messages from people that have progressed, that have got great results, whatever that looks like for them in their business, their personal life, and they say, that's because of what your team did. That's what really juices me, and I really believe that you get enough of that, and the financial reward comes. The fact is, I learned this from a friend of mine many years ago. He always used to say to me, look, money is the measure of the value you create for other people. And I genuinely believe that if I look back over my career, the financial success I've had is directly related or proportionate to the amount of people that we've helped and that we've impacted. When I look in the early days, we weren't making much money. We were helping a handful of people. I look now, we're helping thousands of people. We're making a lot more. You look at the likes of Tony Robbins, he's impacting millions of people a year. No idea how many. He's getting the financial reward for that. So I think it is all relative. I'd hope definitely. that we continue to grow on the trajectory that we are, because we're growing real fast, and I think great things are happening here with our business, our little company here, and I just hope we can keep doing it and pushing and helping more people.
I have no doubt that you will. You are, and the team as well, all amazing. I was just saying to Mark Beesdale that he needs to set out. I'm telling you now, you've got to do this, Nick. He needs to release out a CD called Expert Empires, and it's all his tunes. Because actually, that sounds good.
We should do just a Spotify list, and then people can download it. We should do that.
I've already asked him. But just to let people know, at Expert Empires, Nick always plays the best tunes that any event has. Literally, it gets everyone. It's some kind of tunes I was
going to say, I don't think it's everyone's taste in music, but you know what? I think.
Mate, I've seen old people bobbing their heads.
No, I think it's not everyone's taste, but we're a high energy team. We like to create a high energy environment. There's always certain tracks that I'm into at the time. Whenever an event comes around, we always give them a bit extra. So it's good.
Yeah, no, they're spot on, literally. I just want to just touch on, have you ever had in your lifetime a, I would say like an aha moment, something that's sort of like, whoa, an epiphany, that kind of just made you really sort of like think, oh man, why didn't I know that? Why didn't I realize that before? I think we lost you again. You're frozen. I think we might, there we go. We just lost him. Let's try again. So we'll finish this off. Get the hey, we're almost done
Good.
now. So I'm just gonna end. Yeah, just end the last question. I was just saying, have you had in your life a moment where you had like an aha moment, like an epiphany moment, something which really made you think, just made everything clear to you?
It's hard to say, man. I think the first and only one that comes to mind, I think, is where I had a meeting with Gary Vaynerchuk in 2016, 2015, 2016, and there was some home truths spoken about the dynamic that we were striking at our events between selling and serving, and yeah, he was pretty brutal and cutting. And he said to me, look, you follow my advice, you'll make less money in the next year, but more money in the next 10 than you ever thought possible. And he was right. I walked away from that meeting, completely changed the way that we were doing business, completely changed the way that we were running events, and I've never looked back. And, sitting here today, we've had a pretty amazing few years. We've achieved more in the last 3 years than I ever thought possible, to be perfectly honest. And so that was probably a big turning point for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow. I mean, like for me, you said you started off with 8 people in your mastermind, which is what I've got. I just started a mastermind not long ago around Christmas, and there's 8 people in mine, so maybe that'll be a lucky number for me. But it's a marketing mastermind that'll be reopening soon, actually. So for people that need some experts on the lead generation stuff and funnels and things. But I want to say a massive thank you for joining me on Mic Drops Up Close, mate. It's been a pleasure. Welcome. Obviously, we've got Neil Patel, top leading marketer in the world. I met him at your event, and I asked him at the table, and the guy is so humble. Yeah, he's lovely. Very much like you, Nick. Very, very humble. He accepted right away. Bless him.
No, he'll be great. He'll be a great guest. He'll be a great guest.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I know.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you again, Nick. Really appreciate your time. Welcome to. Thank you for coming to Mic Drops Up Close. Thank you. Take care. All the best. See you, buddy. Bye bye. See you, mate. See you guys. Take care. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. We'll edit that and put it on the podcast because there's a couple of cutouts. I would say that was a pretty damn interesting interview. Nick is an amazing guy. He really, really is, and definitely someone you should connect with if you're in any business, quite frankly. He provides a really great mastermind. For me, I needed that. I needed that when after a few years of when my son was made disabled, business was difficult to run, things are hard to do. I realised I needed to sort of get focus and get some sort of direction. And people like Nick and Rob, my mentors, and back a couple of years back, Simon Zucci as well. These guys are great mentors that have helped me along my way. Even when they're right, you help yourself, to be fair, but it's just been in that environment, that plugging in yourself in that environment. But yeah, thank you again for joining us on Mic Drops Up Close. I'll have my mic and drop it, but hey, it's not here, it's gone. My kids stole it. So anyway, take care, all the best. We'll see you soon and catch you on the next episode, which will be on the 11th of April with Neil Patel. Yep, Neil Patel. He is literally one of the world-leading marketers in the world. Literally, he employs 300 people. He is an amazing, humble guy. And we had a really, really, really interesting chat, actually. Something that many of you guys might want to tune in. But if you know, he's got some major connections in industry and that, and he was telling me something amazingly breakthrough, literally, in medicine with people with MS. So I'm going to touch on that when we get on the live with him. which is quite crazy. They've done lots of tests, and these, I'm digressing massively, but I just had to throw that little mic drop in. So we're going to pick his brain on his friend that's actually come up with an amazing discovery in MS, the treatment for MS. Anyway, all the best, guys. Take care. See you soon, and see you on the next episode of Mic Drops Up Close. Take care. Bye bye.